So what strategies do you think could help improve female representation in the fusion energy industry?
One thing that I've discussed in conversation with peers is that we need to demystify fusion. It sounds really like an esoteric, abstract, mysterious field.
Did you know that only about 20% of the workforce in the fusion energy sector is made up of women? It's pretty shocking, right? This statistic highlights not just a gap in the representation, but also the unique challenges that women face in this field. In this episode, I will deeply explore the innovative world of fusion energy with Susana Reyes, Vice President for Chamber and Plant Design at Xcimer. Join us as we explore the groundbreaking potential of fusion energy and the challenges and strategies for improving female representation in the fusion energy industry. I am your host, Tiffany Tichy, and this is the Women in Engineering podcast. And with that, let's jump right into today's episode. Now it's time to jump right into the main segment of our episode. Today, I have with me Susana Reyes. Susana, welcome to the Women in Engineering podcast.
Thank you. I'm super happy to be here today.
Yes, excited to have you. Well, we'll go ahead into it. Susana, can you start by telling us a bit more about yourself and what led you to specialize in fusion energy?
Yeah, so I'm the VP for Chamber and Plant Design in a fusion energy startup called Xcimer. And my background is in nuclear engineering. I also have some project management training. And during my career, I've been exercising these two sides of my background. And right now, I'm combining all of these into my current job. I'm also a mom of two wonderful boys, and I'm a cat mom. And the way I ended up in fusion energy, well, I grew up in Spain, went to university in Madrid, studied industrial engineering. When I went into my master's, I chose a master's in energy technologies, power engineering, thinking of renewable energy. And I discovered that the master was very focused in nuclear. I had nuclear engineering 1, nuclear engineering 2, nuclear physics 1, nuclear physics 2. So very nuclear intensive. That was surprising for me going into energy technologies. But I learned about fusion. So I got super passionate about the theme. I did my dissertation research in inertial fusion energy. And my professors had some collaboration with Lawrence Livermore Lab in California. That is the home of the National Ignition Facility. So my professor suggested that I maybe could pursue a PhD and do my research in Livermore on the topic of safety aspects of inertial fusion energy plants, basically laser fusion plants. So I went to Livermore with the intention of staying there for 1 year, and I ended up staying much longer. I took a permanent job, and since then I've been around different fusion projects for a while. Yeah, that's the reason I'm in fusion, and this is the best time to be in this field, I think.
Awesome. I love it. Now, for those who may not be familiar, can you briefly explain what fusion energy is and why it's considered a promising energy source for the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So fusion is the ultimate energy, the energy that powers the sun and all the stars in the universe. So fusion is the process by which we combine two light atoms, typically hydrogen, and they produce a larger atom, in this case helium, and an energetic neutron. And the mass difference of the reactants compared to the products of the reaction is converted into energy via the famous equation from Einstein, E equals mc squared. So c squared is a pretty large number. And the energy coming out of the reaction is very significant. So it's several tens of millions. The energy released by burning the same amount of fossil fuel. So significantly energy intensive process. So on top of that, the advantages of fusion energy compared to other energy sources that we have today is that we don't have carbon emissions. The fuel is abundant, it's basically water and lithium, is inherently safe, so there is no risk of an uncontrolled nuclear chain reaction in fusion, which is a great safety advantage compared to fission. There is only low level radioactivity, short lived waste, as opposed to having long lived waste and repositories and so on. And finally, it's very important, is it's expected to be economically very attractive. So basically, it holds the promise of clean, abundant, safe, economical energy for all. And that's pretty compelling.
Mm, I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing that because it's like you hear all the different types of energy, but definitely this was a great way to just break it down for those, to learn the different types of energy. So thank you for sharing that. Now, you've held leadership roles in both Europe and in the US. How have your experiences in these different environments influenced your approach to leadership in the fusion field?
Yeah, so I actually didn't have much of a leadership role when I was in Europe. I studied in Europe, then came to the US, then I went back as a young engineer in my 30s to perform nuclear safety studies at ITER, that is a magnetic fusion facility in being constructed in France. But I was mostly an individual contributor. However, when I came back to the US, the experience from having worked in a facility that was actually under construction and gaining experience with experts on different fusion fields around that particular project, it gave me enough background so that when I came back to the US, I applied that expertise to build collaborative teams to work in some of the key challenges of fusion energy, and that gave me visibility and access. I was able to access increasing leadership roles. So that was great. At the same time, I also took a break from fusion energy. For a moment, the national facility in Livermore, California was built, started doing experiments, but it was not getting the experimental results that the community had expected for a long time. So I took a break from fusion and I went to do some work in particle accelerators, doing a role more project management focused than engineering. So I learned, I actually gained some experience in project management, which was super useful for me because now I can combine these two things in my current role in Xcimer.
And that's good. You got to build your skills, different skills in it. And so I love how you shared that from it. And, you shake it up a little bit from the different types. And then you say moved away from it, but you able to make sure that you was able to get a part of the energy piece of it. Now, the representation of women in fusion energy field is notably low, with estimates ranging from 15 to 20% globally. So, what strategies do you think could help improve female representation in the fusion energy industry?
Yeah, the data is really quite appalling. The reality gets even worse when we analyze gender diversity in engineering leadership roles. So I've been thinking a lot about what myself, my company, the broader community could do to increase the number of females that go into STEM and in particular into engineering and fusion energy. So one thing that I've discussed in conversation with peers is that we need to demystify fusion. It sounds really like an esoteric, abstract, mysterious field, and some people may feel it's an uncertain career path. So I would like to find ways where we can express plans and progress in a very simple, transparent way and reduce that sense of mystery around fusion. Secondly, I think we need to do a better job of finding female candidates. So, from the way we write the job descriptions, what type of adjectives we use for qualifications, I think that we need to help hiring managers overcome subconscious bias. So some people don't know they have bias when interviewing, but one person will always show more affinity for someone that looks like them, that talks like them. So it's nature. But there are ways that we can make folks aware of this and learn how to mitigate it. And third, I think we need to ensure that we have a good nurturing culture in the organization to retain the female talent. So it's not only about getting more students into the field, it's not only about hiring, it's also about retention. Retention is key. So, in higher leadership positions, there's more of this alpha male energy, right? The choice of words in meetings can be important, the tone, the culture. I think organizational culture is a key thing. So all of these things have to be discussed by the leadership of the company and do some intentional actions to improve the way we reach out to students, the way we reach out during the hiring process, and the way we retain female engineering talent.
Agree. All of that. I mean, all of that is needed. So I love the strategies you've shared with us on it because it's needed now more than ever. So, can you discuss some of the challenges you faced as a woman in the fusion energy industry and how you were able to overcome them?
Yeah, so I face different types of challenges. What I've realized in my career is that there are some things you cannot change, and there are some things that you can change. So, for example, once I was, and it was not in a fusion project, it was in a different project. I was in a rather toxic environment. There was lots of biases, gender bias, microaggressions, and this was mainly from the project leader, right? So there was very little that I could can do when a bad behavior comes from the leadership of a company of a project. There is little that somebody at the lower level of the organization can do. So I finally walked away, found another job. But I found situations where really, you can partner with people in your network to overcome certain things. So I remember when I was younger, I was really harassed by a male researcher that did not like my results. And I was challenging some former studies that this person had done, but I was challenging in a scientific way, not in a personal way. But this person tried really to undermine my self confidence, and I was very young. I was a student. I was a grad student at the time, so this person was very upset. But I was able to leverage my connections, my network to talk about what was going on and find a lot of support. And interestingly, in that same conference when this incident happened, I ended up winning an award for best student paper. So that really boosted my confidence, and I learned, like, if there is something wrong that doesn't feel right, I can always reach out to people in my network that I trust to talk about it and to build back my confidence. So I think that, one piece of good news is that gender-based harassment is taken more seriously now. Years ago, when I was growing up, we it was typical in my generation that more senior women would say, like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, everybody has been through that, so suck it up, work harder, because this is the way it is." So I think that one thing is, like, things are different now. We don't say, "Oh, well, that's it. You're a woman in a men's world, so you're going to have to put up with that." That is not a valid approach anymore. So we have organizations, HR policies that protect women from gender based discrimination. And I think that, again, building your network of support, I think, is very important. No, and if there is not like a ready network for you, normally there is someone in your organization that will be able to listen to you and to help you.
That's key. I mean, having that support and then the building a network. I mean, those are some great suggestions and topics as far as how to be able to build upon it. Even whatever obstacles or challenges we may face, you were able to overcome it and build upon it. I love it. I love it. So you've worked on several significant projects like the National Ignition Facility and the ITER. What were some of the most impactful moments in these projects for you?
Yeah. So I could say that whenever I've been recognized for my work, it's been very impactful. And I can see how it can be easily the other way around. Like when you're not recognized, one is not recognized, it can be really demoralizing. If somebody takes credit of somebody else's work, that can be really, really frustrating and bad situation. So having managers that have offered career development opportunities for me has been very impactful. So as having mentors or sponsors that have offered opportunities to grow professionally by trusting me in a new challenge. Some managers don't think about spending time with like award nominations because they are very busy, but I was lucky to work for management team once that was very proactive, supporting their staff, including women, and competing in prestigious awards and supporting staff to be presented as candidate to awards. So I think that as women, we need to be a little bit selective of the type of culture that we want to work in because it can obviously have an impact in your career worth. As I said, like the support or the lack of support, I think is very important. Essentially in early career stages. So my advice for early career engineers looking for a job would be to spend some time learning about the culture in the organization where they are applying to be or where they are thinking about applying, and talk to the management team before accepting a job and ask about the culture, or if things turn out to be different that you expected when applying to a position and you find yourself in a job where you don't feel valued or recognized, I think that it's time to start looking for other options.
Yeah, that's important. I mean, you do want to, the work you do, you want some, appreciation for the work you're doing and, for what you're doing. So I love that you're saying, getting awards, the fact that you was recognized, you haven't talked about you have for your paper as a student. So as we talk about just the student piece of it, how important do you think early engagement at the student level is for increasing diversity in fusion energy? And what approaches have you found effective?
Yeah, I think it's extremely important to encourage students since very young age, maybe elementary school even, to consider a role in STEM. When I was a grad student in Livermore, my friend's roommate was a middle school teacher, and he used to tell me that when he was teaching math, and he would ask questions, and rarely girls wanted to raise their hands to answer because they were afraid of being labeled as nerds. This is because of Hollywood cliches and things like that. So these conversations with my friend teacher made me very upset, and I started volunteering in some science fairs for school age girls. In these type of events, I think that girls gain confidence in what a STEM job is like because they ask questions, and I think that we should be doing more of those, more reasons in schools and in science fairs. What we are trying to do in my company right now in Xcimer is have absolutely presence in young engineer conferences and women conferences. I think all of these efforts may not seem like they have enormous impact in the sense of changing the numbers rapidly, but little by little, I think we can do it with that continuous effort.
Yes, that's it. I mean, planting the seed earlier on, getting them, the whole raising the hands, young girls, raising their hands in these math and science classes to get them where they can build their confidence. So I think you've touched on something that's really important, especially for our young people, which I'm passionate about as well. So as we close out, what final piece of advice can you share with engineers, especially women, who are considering a career in the fusion energy industry?
Yeah, I would say go to a conference if you can, a fusion energy conference, build some connections, learn about the field, ask other women that you see there about their experiences. And fusion is quite across the disciplinary field. So it's a very exciting field where, regardless of the engineering discipline that you are specialized in, you would be able to work with electrical engineers, nuclear engineers, mechanical engineers, people from aerospace, people with physics background or mathematics, computing. So I think that fusion is a very promising field. The good thing is that after decades of research, there are more fusion jobs today than ever due to the private sector picking up. So in Xcimer, we have a career site, and you can look like there are 40 or more than 40 private fusion companies. So this is very exciting. And in addition to the private fusion companies, there is work going on at universities, at DOE, national labs. So I think that overall, there has never been a better time for a career in fusion. I encourage you to go, and if you're interested, look it up.
Love it, love it. I mean, I can tell the passion, and I love how you was able to explain it, how they can get to it. Yes, knowing that there's even a conference for it. I mean, that's amazing. And so the opportunities are out there. So I want to say thank you so much for your wisdom, dropping gems and different pieces of great advice. Susanna, thank you so much for being a great guest on the show.
Thank you, Tiffany. Glad to be here. Bye bye.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you won't miss our upcoming episodes featuring interviews with inspiring women engineers, discussions about industry trends, and much more. Go to womeninengineeringpodcast.com where you will find a summary of the key points discussed in today's episode, as well as links to any of the resources, websites, or books mentioned during this episode. Until next time, may your engineering endeavors be as remarkable as the women whose stories we're sharing. Stay curious, keep innovating, and engineer a better future.